everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to Positive Health and Wellness. So this week we're going to talk a little more about, of course, manifesting your desires in addition to realizing that you are already wonderful and you already have everything that you need. That's not to say that there's anything wrong with wanting to manifest more or being a little bit more attentive to kind of what you are manifesting. So our premise is that the creation is only with the creator. So it's not that you're actually creating anything in a raw fabric. Our take on this is that, there is a creator and that the creator is creating, but that in the sense of, or in the realm of free will, if you will, the creator allows you to manifest things into your own reality. So when we talk about this, first we need to kind of go over some basics. Some people have wanted a little bit of clarification on this, so we will talk about the basics at the moment. So part of our foundation is that there are certain laws that govern our reality as we experience it. Now, remember, we are spiritual beings having a very physical and human experience. But within that human experience, you have things that are tangible, that are solid, so to speak, that you touch. You touch your table. You are maybe in a chair right now. You can feel that chair. You relate and you respond to your environment and you interact with it as well. So one of the very easy to follow foundations that we'll touch upon are the laws that govern our ability to manifest. One of the most essential laws is the law of attention. I'm going to go into it a little bit differently than what you might have heard before. Now, this is just a basic introduction to quantum physics. The idea is that in quantum physics, that everything exists as both a particle and as a wave at the same time. So the easy way to understand this is that if you can imagine your thoughts, which we've already established that your thoughts are very essential, so you must only harbor and entertain positive thoughts. And there are other laws of the universe that tell you also, which we'll go into in more detail in other videos, but basically that, for every action, there is a reaction, obviously, and also that things have a polarity. So if you want to know the negative of something, you must do the positive of it. If you want the opposite of what you're getting, you must think the opposite of what you're thinking. So with this foundation of the thought process, we've already established that your thoughts are very essential tools to help you manifest your reality. Now, think of those thoughts as little particles, if you will, like little dots, particles circling around your mind. And in your mind's eye, imagine in this basic foundation of quantum physics that in any given moment, that all of your creative surroundings, all of the things that have manifested for you are in wave particles, which means that they're more solidified and on a certain level, and they're not just particles, right? And we know that in quantum physics, what makes them more tangible and more solid is your attention to it, right? And we could take this to many levels, but for now, we're just going to focus in on this very specific goal of manifestation. So at the same time, an item is a particle, and at the same time, that item is a wave. Now imagine that in your mind, when you're having all these thoughts, they are particular, which means that they are particle substances. And in order for you to manifest them into your reality, you must learn to stop, breathe, relax, and release, And if you want, you can take another take on this also, which is that you must smile, breathe, relax, and release. And when you release those thoughts, by meditation, by affirmation, by relaxation, and just being one with the creator, what you'll find is that you are able to turn those thoughts, when you relax and when you release those thoughts, into the vibrational field of the creative world. Those thoughts become waves. And there are other laws, of course, that govern, that say, everything will happen in due time, in God's ultimate time and God's divine time. So you must relax and release, as we've spoken the other video about, acting as if. Once you release those thought waves, they're no longer particles. This is the essential. Once you release those thought waves, you must imagine them as waves. And they are no longer particles, which means that they are becoming, and they are, with the will of God, with the blessing of God, with the creation of God, they are being unfolded for you in the physical world in the attainment of what you would like to manifest. And the hidden component, or the essential sacred component to this, is that when you are thinking of those waves, so when we talk about visualizing and we talk about manifesting and we talk about acting as if, you must see yourself in the pictures that you're visualizing. I don't mean that you see yourself in a picture over there and you see yourself, in the earlier example we talked about, having a car, you're seeing yourself kind of as a third person driving that car. No, I mean that you see it through your own eyes. What that means is that you have to be able to visualize, and when you're visualizing, you must be within. You must be kind of in the virtual reality. If you notice that with the technologies that we have with virtual reality, you are always not just a passive observer, but you're a very active observer, because you are looking through the lens and you are experiencing it first person. So when you visualize, you must experience that first person. And so when you're visualizing what you want to manifest, you must have those waves of the manifestations that are outside yourself, obviously, that are tangible things or that are tangible goals. You must have those vibrations manifest themselves as waves, and you can imagine them as waves that are being created. Now, the essential point is, as I mentioned earlier, your attention to it. So you must attend to these manifestations. It's not simply a matter of sitting there and wishful thinking. We are not imagining anything. We're not pretending. There's no pretense here. What we are talking about is actually feeling the way you would, and actually using your emotions and being first person. So when you are doing this in first person, you have to remember the particular physics that we just talked about, that when an item or anything, you are the observer. So at any moment in particular physics, we understand that everything exists as both a particle and a wave. When it's thoughts in your minds, it's existing in that particular phase or particular state. And then when you smile, breathe, relax, and release, you are turning it into a wave, and you are also engaging. You are very much a part of the creative process. You are visualizing at the same time that you are releasing. You are visualizing what you would like in first person through your own eyes. And so you are able to understand that it must, and it is going to come to you because you put your attention on it and you focus on it. And throughout the day, you don't leave your attention from it. So we're not talking about something where you're daydreaming and then you're coming back to AKA so-called reality. What we're talking about is that when you are visualizing and when you are in this creative process, you are acting as if again, and you are carrying on your activities as if. So at no moment are you to focus on your current reality. At no moment. At every moment, you are to be in your creative state. You are to acknowledge that you are already there, and you are to focus your attention in that particular way and turn that particular thought and that particular idea into a very wavelength of reality, and into the very wavelength that will manifest and that is already manifest in the creative world. And you're also supposed to release. You are in a state of releasing it. So when I say release, I truly mean it in the mental, physical, emotional state of release and relaxation. So this is where I tell you the importance of acknowledging the creator and the divine. We need to understand that while in some traditions you have this concept of you are the self-creator, and that you have this huge responsibility to make things real. What we're talking about is a little bit different in that you are not the creator. Your job is to, within the realm of free will, manifest and send wishes and prayers, so to speak. Some people call it praying. Some people call it wishing. And knowing that it's granted, that everything that you want is, possible with God. All things are possible. And what that means is that God is the one that's creating that for you. You are simply acknowledging it and finding the references and finding the relative realities of your manifestations in the physical world.